They thought it was just another rock from deep space, a wandering interstellar object, harmless, quiet, drifting toward the sun. But then, the James Webb Space Telescope captured something no one expected. A coma glowing deep red, symmetrical beyond natural explanation. No water, no tail, no familiar signs of a comet, only carbon dioxide, released with mechanical precision. And now scientists are whispering something they never thought they'd say aloud. What if this isn't a comet at all? The last time something like this happened, it was Oumuamua, and that already sent shockwaves through the world of astronomy. But 3I Atlas? This one doesn't just challenge what we know, it rewrites the rules, and with every passing day, it gets closer. What the James Webb Telescope has just confirmed about 3I Atlas is more than shocking. It's terrifying, and no one, not even NASA, is prepared for what comes next. From the very beginning, 3I Atlas stood apart from everything we thought we understood about interstellar visitors. Instead of a chaotic coma made of water vapor and dust, the Webb Telescope detected something completely different. An enormous red sphere of gas, nearly the size of the Earth-Moon distance, expanding evenly in all directions. The color wasn't pale or icy. It glowed with an ominous crimson hue, and most alarmingly, it wasn't water forming this halo. It was carbon dioxide, and only carbon dioxide. At this distance from the sun, water should have been dominant. Every comet we've ever observed at this range boils off its water first, creating spectacular tails and jets that make even backyard telescopes buzz with excitement. But Atlas didn't follow that rulebook. It seemed to operate under entirely different physics. There were no jets, no wild bursts, no sign of chaos at all. Just a slow, steady release of CO2, like something had turned on a switch and was now venting with quiet, eerie control. Astronomers turned their attention to the core, the solid nucleus at the heart of the coma, and what they found sent shivers down their spines. Early estimates from Hubble suggested the nucleus was tiny, barely 300 to 500 meters across. But when Webb and SphereX began scanning in near-infrared wavelengths, the intensity of reflected light didn't match those dimensions, not even close. According to repeated models, the nucleus might actually be over 46 kilometers wide, making it larger than 90% of all comets ever observed. That kind of mass should have made Atlas obvious from the start. Its gravitational field alone could have distorted light from background stars. Yet somehow, it had remained invisible until now. How? Some scientists suggested the reflectivity might not come from the core at all, but from particles in the coma. But that theory fell apart when they analyzed the reflectivity curve. It was too smooth, too consistent. It looked engineered. A natural body should scatter light randomly. But this was symmetrical, polished, uniform, like a mirror made by intelligent hands. Every comet has a voice, and in most cases, that voice is water. As they approach the sun, frozen water turns to vapor, forming those iconic glowing tails. But 3I Atlas has remained eerily silent. Spectral data confirms that water is present beneath its surface. It's there, waiting, dormant, but it's not emerging. Instead, just 4.5 kilograms of water are released per second, a tenth of what's expected. One theory says the intense CO2 outgassing is acting like a thermal blanket, cooling the surface and trapping the water beneath. Another says the water is buried too deep, unreachable by solar heat. But here's the problem. Even those theories can't explain the consistency. There are no cracks, no disruptions, no spikes in water vapor. Just one steady rhythm of CO2, over and over, like a machine. And that begs the question, what if the absence of water isn't a coincidence? What if it's intentional? If an object defies everything we know about comets, shouldn't it be headline news? When Oumuamua was discovered in 2017, the world exploded with curiosity. Within days, it was all over the media, with Harvard scientists even suggesting it could be alien technology. But 3I Atlas? Nothing. Silence. NASA's SphereX detected Atlas in August 2025. It captured the enormous red coma, the baffling lack of water, the strange reflectivity. But there were no press releases, no interviews, not even a tweet. The data was quietly buried on a blog post weeks later, as if it were routine, as if it weren't history being made. Some experts chalk it up to protocol. Others say it's about avoiding speculation. But more and more voices in the scientific community are starting to say what many are thinking. This feels familiar. This feels controlled. And if NASA is keeping quiet, maybe it's because they know more than they're saying. 3. I-Atlas doesn't just look strange. It moves in ways that defy celestial mechanics. Its trajectory is not just interstellar, it's impossibly precise. Unlike traditional comets that are flung into our system by gravitational disturbances or passively drift along hyperbolic paths, 3 I-Atlas seems to be following a calculated route, one that brushes just close enough to planets and solar radiation to collect data, but never so close as to be destabilized. When its projected path was reverse-engineered, astronomers were shocked. The object appeared to have made micro-corrections mid-flight, slight, almost imperceptible angular shifts that shouldn't be possible for a natural body. These course adjustments require energy, intent, and awareness. In other words, this object isn't just moving through our solar system, it's navigating it. And when those paths were cross-referenced with historic observations of deep sky anomalies, some researchers believe this object, or something like it, may have passed near Earth before, hidden in ancient observations mistaken for stars or eclipses. As if this wasn't its first visit, as if it knows the way. While James Webb focused on the spectral analysis of 3 I-Atlas's coma, it made a discovery that's now being hotly debated behind closed doors. The object emits a spectral signature corresponding to complex organic molecules, not uncommon in deep space. But what made this terrifying was the ratio and arrangement of those molecules. Instead of random dispersion, the data revealed a repeating chemical rhythm. Methanol, carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, not scattered, but layered, structured. The layering mimicked the pattern of protein folding found in terrestrial life forms. Now let's be clear, no one is saying 3 I-Atlas is alive, but the molecular order suggests design, purpose. One fringe theory, now slowly entering mainstream circles, posits that these molecules may be part of a biological probe, not a message to be read, but one to be inhaled by a planetary biosphere. In short, a payload. And if Earth's atmosphere interacts with these molecules in just the right way, we may not have years to prepare. We may only have months. On a quiet morning in late July, the SETI Institute picked up a signal. Not from a star system, not from deep space, but from somewhere between Mars and Jupiter. It was brief, narrow band, repeating, and when decoded into audio, it sounded eerily like a pulsed synthetic tone, similar to a rotating beacon, one used in early radar or submarine sonar. Normally, SETI would dismiss this as terrestrial interference, but they couldn't. The signal moved in sync with the trajectory of 3 I-Atlas. As the object shifted slightly, so did the origin point. The signal wasn't coming from Earth. It was following the comet. For 17 minutes, this tone echoed through multiple observatories. Then, silence. When SETI attempted to triangulate, their systems experienced a total data crash. Logs were wiped, antennas misaligned, internal backups scrambled, and just like that, the story disappeared. The official explanation? A weather glitch. But the engineers involved have all signed NDAs. Some have quit, and one was recently hospitalized after claiming he had heard the signal in his dreams. The James Webb Telescope operates in infrared, capable of detecting heat signatures from billions of years ago. When pointed directly at 3 I-Atlas's nucleus, scientists expected to find a cold, solid core, typical of comets. Instead, they found a flat line, not low, not variable, but perfectly zero. This is impossible. Every object in space emits some infrared radiation, but 3 I-Atlas seemed to absorb and reflect nothing. It was as if it weren't there, or worse, as if it existed in a separate thermal dimension. This anomaly triggered a cross-check with other instruments, including ESA's solar orbiter. They confirmed it. The object's core was a void, reflecting no heat, no absorption spectrum, not even when blasted by solar wind. The only logical conclusion was horrifying, that the object's core wasn't made of any known material, that it was cloaked, or hollow, or a projection. Some now believe what we're seeing may not be the object itself, but a shell, a decoy, a mask for something hidden behind frequencies we don't yet understand. Something that's been watching us long before we had the tools to watch back. When researchers enhanced the image of 3I Atlas's coma using Fourier transformation and multispectrum filters, they stumbled upon a chilling phenomenon. Hidden within the gas cloud, which should be random, was a repeating fractal pattern. Not once, not twice, but across every frame captured over a 17-day period. The pattern wasn't decorative. It was structured, geometric, and recursively nested, as if the cloud were encoding information in the form of a visual algorithm. One team tried to map the fractal to known mathematical constants. The results aligned eerily with the golden ratio and Fibonacci sequences, both deeply rooted in natural order, but also in human consciousness. Was this an interstellar signature, a test, a trap, or something even more unsettling? A form of communication that only a sufficiently evolved intelligence would be able to perceive? Either way, the message wasn't meant for our instruments. It was meant for our minds. As data on 3I Atlas was shared with bioinformatics teams worldwide, a shocking correlation emerged. The molecular arrangement of the comet's emitted particles, particularly certain carbon-rich compounds, bore an almost perfect overlap with sequences found in mitochondrial DNA, specifically in regions tied to cellular aging and neurodevelopment. This led to the formation of a controversial new theory, that 3I Atlas carries resonant biological code, not to infect or mutate, but to trigger dormant genetic instructions. What if this object isn't bringing something new, but activating something ancient? What if our evolution wasn't random, but timed? What if 3I Atlas is the cosmic clock? The implications are overwhelming. This wouldn't be contact. It would be reconnection. A switch flipped from light years away, one that could accelerate cognition, memory, even consciousness, or extinguish it altogether. Multiple observatories across the globe reported the same bizarre anomaly, a delay between light emitted from the comet and the gravitational signature it should produce. That shouldn't be possible. Gravity is instantaneous at this scale. But when models were refined, the data revealed a second, invisible mass, trailing exactly 312,000 kilometers behind 3I Atlas. This gravitational ghost couldn't be seen in visible light, infrared, ultraviolet, or radio. But its pull was real. It shifted solar particles, bent comet tails, and caused measurable lensing of background stars. The mass? Comparable to a small asteroid, but perfectly silent. No emissions, no radiation, no data, just presence. Some theorists believe this could be a probe, a parasite, or even the true object, with 3I Atlas merely acting as the front-facing decoy, a mask hiding the face. And if that's true, then everything we've seen so far is just a curtain. What's really moving toward us is behind it. 2 weeks ago, a leaked document from a high-level aerospace contractor suggested that the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, UNOOSA, had received a classified transmission from NASA, ESA, and CNSA, confirming anomalous object 3I Atlas no longer behaves according to expected celestial models and suggesting multinational coordination for planetary observation escalation. This leak was quickly denied, scrubbed, and discredited. But internal logs on satellite networks revealed something that couldn't be erased: a spike in encrypted communications across all orbital telescopes and deep space arrays, followed by a synchronized firmware update, an event that typically takes months to coordinate, yet happened globally in less than 36 hours. Why such urgency? Why such silence? Why upgrade every telescope on Earth at once? And what were they preparing to track or hide? As scientists from ESA and NASA attempted to model the object's repeating CO2 emissions, they noticed a rhythmic pulse embedded in the venting intervals. But this wasn't just any rhythm. The spacing between emissions matched Planck time intervals when scaled logarithmically. Planck time, for context, is the smallest measurable unit of time in physics, the quantum tick of the universe. When overlaid onto global atomic clock systems, several high-precision instruments in Geneva, Tokyo, and Boulder began to register microsecond desynchronizations. It was as if something in 3I Atlas's frequency was distorting local spacetime, subtly enough to be deniable, but consistently enough to break consensus time between satellites. More chillingly, civilian reports began to flood in from observatories. Clocks skipping beats, drones falling from synchronization, and a few classified military systems entering time desync errors. If 3I Atlas can warp time at a distance, what happens when it gets closer? While the coma of 3I Atlas remained active and spewing CO2, a new James Webb scan revealed that the core temperature had dropped far below predicted levels, to nearly 40 Kelvin, approaching absolute zero. That temperature is physically incompatible with the outgassing activity observed. In plain terms, a core that cold shouldn't be active. What's even stranger is that the thermal mapping shows a perfectly spherical cold zone, sharply bounded, with no thermal gradient. This means that something, not natural, is regulating the internal temperature. Some now suspect the object has a cryogenic chamber inside it, potentially storing sensitive material or even preserving something. Could this be a vessel for life or death? The idea that 3I Atlas could be a delivery mechanism, maintaining a frozen core through deep space, only to deploy it when reaching proximity to Earth, has gone from fringe to mainstream conversation among astrobiologists, and if it's cryogenic, then it's designed to awaken. The Very Large Telescope, VLT, in Chile conducted high-speed photometric imaging of 3I Atlas's passage behind distant stars, a common technique to learn about an object's shape. But the results revealed something impossible: light echoes. That is, after the comet passed, faint shadows and reflections continued to appear, as if the object left behind an imprint in space-time. These echoes did not fade like normal. They persisted for hours, then days, subtly shifting position with the Earth's rotation. Astrophysicists tried to dismiss it as lensing, but the phenomenon remained even when using different filters, cameras, and instruments. It was almost as if the object was duplicating itself across dimensions, or that we were seeing simultaneous versions of it from other points in time. A Harvard quantum optics team now believes we may be dealing with a form of temporal echo, a side effect of an object not bound by linear time, something that exists in many moments at once, but only lets us see a piece of it at any given moment. After months of analysis, a rogue group of comparative mythologists and astrophysicists began to publish an idea that would have been laughable until now. They found ancient records scattered across multiple civilizations: Sumerians, Dogon, Mayans, the Indus Valley, all referring to a star that returns every 13 lifetimes and carries with it a mirror that sees the soul of Earth. The descriptions matched eerily with modern observations of 3I Atlas: the red eye in the sky, the symmetrical light, the silent passing without tail. The ancients even described rituals of stillness coinciding with its arrival, as if anticipating a signal or awaiting judgment. These records, previously dismissed as myth, are now being reevaluated by SET1 historians. Because if 3I Atlas is not a comet, but a sensor, a watcher, or a harbinger, then perhaps those who came before us already knew what it meant. And if they prepared, maybe we should too. After everything the James Webb Telescope has captured, after every signal, shadow, and anomaly we've tried to rationalize, one truth is becoming undeniable. 3I Atlas is not here to pass by. It's here to reflect back. This object, or whatever intelligence hides behind its veil, has woven itself into our myths, our physics, and now, our perception of reality itself. Its timing, its structure, its silence are not coincidental. They are deliberate, measured, and ancient. It did not arrive, it returned. The reason it breaks our models is because it was never meant to obey them, because it doesn't operate inside our rules. And perhaps, neither do we. Perhaps we are the anomaly it came to observe, to judge, or to awaken. Governments may remain silent. Agencies may pretend it's just another space rock. But the instruments are no longer silent. The patterns are too precise, and the effect is already rippling, not just through our atmosphere, but through our memory, our biology, our past. Because 3I Atlas doesn't just reflect light, it reflects who we've become. So the next time you stare into the stars and see something watching back, don't look away. You might not be looking at a comet, You might be looking into the mirror of our own origin, or our end.